The pop hat.
Yes. The magical moving hat. Welcome to Podheim, Jiroc's Valheim podcast. Let's give him the business.
Hey everybody, today is July 11th, 2023. I'm your host, Jiroc the Viking, and joining me today are my fellow Vikings, Gwen, the Shield Maiden.
Hello. It didn't pop. Did it pop? It didn't pop.
Wearing the pop-off hat today. We also have Shield Maiden, Morning Darkness.
Hello. I like how you both are wearing very clearly sun hats right now.
Yes, it's summertime. Before we get into our hat discussion, Morning Darkness, can you give everyone... Oh, there you go. You got a sun hat too.
Nice.
Can you give...
Sorry, I had to.
Oh, no. Well, yeah, you just be careful not to stretch your hat out over the headphones because then you don't want to ruin your hat.
I know. So, yes, what are we covering today? Is that what you're going to ask me to say?
Well, yeah, the Valheim news. There's a few exciting
Valheim
things.
news. Yeah, the first video preview of the Ashlands. We also have a date to Hilder's clothes and sample pieces when building.
Yeah, that one right
Exciting
there
stuff.
was huge because I use a mod for that, and at least in admin mode. But yeah, I think that's going to be probably one of my favorite things.
Yeah.
But we'll get to that. But first, we'll discuss hats. And Gwen, can you explain how the physics of the pop-up hat works there?
So this hat is clearly not made to be worn above headphones, but it kind of works, and it makes for a fun game. See like how long it stays until it just goes poop like that.
And what is the text and little symbol on the hat on the band there? I can't make it out.
So this is a promotional hat, guys. Yeah. I didn't buy this. I picked up this hat at my last time I went on a night out in town to a Cuban themed bar, and they were distributing like flower crowns and hats, and I don't know, I must be some sort of like magnetic thing with hats. Like I don't know, most of the hats I own and most of the hats you've seen on the podcast I haven't bought. I think I said that last time. I must be a center of gravity for hats because they all come to me. I don't know why. And so I picked that hat up. It says Revolución de Cuba, which is the name of this bar chain that we have in the UK that's like Cuban themed. It says Revolution de Cuba rum bar and cantina. So yes, that's my hat. That's why I was saying I don't mind it too much being distorted and stuff because I'm surprised how well it's made for a free hat. It's actually quite decent. The design is quite nice. I was thinking of maybe just replacing the ribbon here by something else.
You can definitely replace
still using it. Yeah.
I can't
just make a new flower crown.
Oh, right.
Yeah, it's a nice hat.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's not bad. I mean, it's better when I'm not wearing headphones. It fits better.
Yeah. Well, also, can you tell us about that shirt that you're wearing?
Oh, this one. It's it's a merch from a podcast that no longer exists, unfortunately, or has been discontinued. But it was a very fun Star Wars themed podcast called Blah Wars. And it's two blokes in the UK, two lovely, lovely guys who were friends and both passionate about Star Wars, decided to start a podcast. And it was just so much fun. It's like listening to two friends and, just having lots of banter around Star Wars. So I really enjoyed that podcast. I'm really sad that they didn't carry on, but had the opportunity to go see the two live podcast episodes that they did in London and met them in person, and it was great fun. So
Very
yeah, Blah
cool.
Wars. If you're Star Wars fans and you miss Star Wars discussions, go check it out. Blah Wars. They're on most things, I think. I don't know if they're on YouTube, but I was listening to them on Spotify. I know they were on most podcasting apps, and yeah,
How
good fun.
how long did that podcast run?
Uh, almost 2 years, I think. It was
Okay.
before the pandemic, and it was right. I think they started right before the new trilogy came out. So, or they were starting just as the new Star Wars movies were coming out. So they did loads of like commentary episodes on each of the new Star Wars. I think they ended it before all the new TV series came out, so they didn't get to like The Mandalorian and all of that. Or I don't think so. But yeah, they commented on all the new films and all the side like spin-offs like Solo and stuff like that came out around that time.
Yeah. It sounds like fun. During, especially when the movies were coming out, I would watch a lot of the YouTube videos where people would mostly complain about them. But,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really nice to hear like different people's takes on Star Wars, and yeah, they did a lot of fun commentaries, lots of fun stories. One of them is a fan of a fan. One of them likes the prequels, and the other one absolutely doesn't. So it made for really fun debates. And yeah, their reactions to the new movies were also quite fun to listen to. And yeah, they did one episode which I was thinking, oh, it would be fun if we could do something like that on Podheim as well. They invited a friend at they did one episode which was with a guest, a joint friend of theirs who didn't watch Star Wars at all. She knew just what the mainstream knew about Star Wars, and they asked her to describe the story of Star Wars or what she knew of it as someone who's never watched it, and it was so funny. It was hilarious.
That actually sounds like a great idea. We definitely need to bring someone in who has never played Valheim and have them describe it. I love it.
Yes. Yeah,
Let's do it.
fun.
Yeah, that would be fun. Well, since we were talking about hats, I don't have any big stories to tell about mine, except that it's summertime here, and I have I have several of these big straw sun hats, and yeah, I forget who makes that. I don't know if you can read that there, but I have a lot of them.
Yeah, it's
they have
nice.
this fun print underneath.
The lining.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really nice.
So
what is that, 14th Street?
It's very festival-y.
Yeah.
And what's the drawing on the front?
It's just this is just like
the logo.
waves.
Yeah.
Waves of the for whatever the company is that made it.
It's just a pattern. I thought it was maybe from a distance it looked a bit like it was some sort of like scenery or something.
Yeah. But yeah, I got this I think when I was down in Venice Beach visiting Southern California. Along the beach they have a lot of surf shops and things, so nice. And they have a lot of sun hats, and so
I can imagine you paddling on a canoe wearing this hat.
I hate canoeing. I love rafting, but I hate canoeing because it's funny that you bring that up, because we're going rafting 2 days from now on Thursday.
Fun.
Yeah,
nice.
Up on the American River by Lake Folsom, past
nice.
Sacramento. But years and years ago, a long time ago, one of my first experiences on the river was with my shield maiden and I going out on our Viking ship, which was just a hard metal canoe, the two of us. And we're watching other people in rafts, which, you kind of lounge in a raft because it's spongy and it's comfortable, and they can get in and out of the water easily because of the raft. We're in a hard canoe that's uncomfortable. You have to sit upright. You got no back support, and you bang into everything with it. And if you get in the water, forget it. You're never getting back into the canoe. You have to go to the shore to get in and out of the canoe. And basically, it was a miserable day. My back hurt at the end of the day. I was mostly too hot because we couldn't get in and out of the canoe easily. So I was like, I'm never ever canoeing ever again in my life. And then
You
I
know
started
Aw.
better
rafting.
canoes, right?
What's that?
You know there are better canoes, right?
No, but this it's the experience of a canoe. Like then once I started rafting, I thought, wow, this is
Oh
awesome.
yeah.
You're lounging in the raft. You sit up to help steer it every once in a while. But yeah, and then just getting in and out of the raft is super easy compared to that. What like while you're in the water. So it became more of a leisurely fun in and out of the water day during the summer, as opposed to canoe, which I felt like this is very serious business. We're paddling, we got to get somewhere. Like, no, I'm not here to get somewhere. I'm just here to lounge and be in and out of the water all day.
I will say the last time I did a float down the American River in the same area, my legs got so sunburned
Oh yeah.
that I had sun scarring.
Oh no.
Oh,
So make sure to wear your sunscreen
Oh yeah. And the
yes.
only thing that
and
works
make
for
sure
me.
it's waterproof and make
Yep.
sure to reapply.
Reapply.
That's the thing. So I start with the cream stuff. I rub it all over before we even leave the house, so it has time to just like soak in and become a part of my soul. And then when I get there, I also have the spray. I mean, because look how pale I am, right? So yeah, then I get there and then I reapply with the spray on top of it all throughout the day as I get in and out of the water. Because otherwise, same thing. Have all them burn marks.
Yeah. I do kayaking, which I enjoy. I have a little inflatable kayak that I still haven't taken out this summer. I really need to
man.
find the time to go do some kayak. But yeah, it's really big actually. It's a 3-seater one, which is more made for like 2 adults and a kid in the middle. But we got the big one because we wanted to try kayaking with the dog, and we have quite a big dog.
Oh.
It works.
Nice.
But yeah, as a result, it's really big. It's like a proper boat at that point, and
Yeah.
very stable because it's inflatable. So it's got the flat bottom, so you can't really topple it over. And yeah, it's pretty nice. But I only do that on the river. So
What
on
about
on the
paddleboarding?
Thames,
Have you tried paddleboarding?
I have it's like stand-up paddleboard.
Yeah.
I've tried, but I tried on the lake. I'm too much of a chicken to try to stand up because I don't know. I think that day the lake was really cold and I was wearing shorts and stuff and I didn't want to fall in the water. So I didn't really try to get up all that much. I was mostly like on my knees paddling. But it looks really fun. I would try it again, but probably on lakes rather than on the river. I don't know if I would have enough like core strength and balance to be able to deal with the currents of a
Yeah.
river while standing.
Well, it depends on the river. Yeah, the river that
Yeah.
what we're going is mostly class 1, so it's very slow. There's a couple of parts where there's a little tiny rapids.
Parts.
Oh, and
Yeah.
the one big rapid that you hit, that's about like a class 3. But yeah, so yeah, there are paddle boards on that river, but most that they can stand through most of it. But during a couple of parts, you see them sitting to navigate a few of the
Yeah.
rapids. I have personally never done it yet either, but it's something that I definitely want to try. I keep seeing them at Costco. They always have their inflatable paddle boards right before the summer, and every year I think about getting one, but I haven't pulled the trigger on that yet.
Yeah, it looks great fun. You should maybe try it once, and if you like it, then
rent one
get an
first to see if
inflatable
I
one.
like it before I buy
Yeah.
one.
Well, the thing is, the inflatable ones, because it's just a board like just a bit thicker than a surfboard, it's really quick to inflate.
Yeah.
The problem with my giant kayak, which is again more of a boat at this point, is it takes a long time to inflate.
I bet.
So yeah, so I unless I go for a day out, it's like I can't really justify. After work, I finish work really late, so I only have a couple of hours before it's dark outside, even in the summer. By the time I take it to the river, inflate it, and all of that, I only get less than an hour on the water, so it's not really worth the hassle. So yeah, and this summer is it's been just so busy. But yeah, I will need to find the time to do a bit of kayaking because it's been yeah, it's been sat at home for too long.
Well, let's talk a little bit about gaming stuff. So I wanted to give a little update on my gaming servers, since I have a few of them, many of them, because G Portal is one of my sponsors. So, um, but I'm actually working on a big overhaul of our Discord channel, because we launched our Discord, gosh, almost 2 years ago now. Well, in September it will be 2 years, and a lot of they've come up with a lot of new features. One in particular, just onboarding new members. So, like, if you come to our Discord, you actually don't see a lot when you first get there until you accept the rules, and if you become a member, then it unlocks a whole bunch of channels. And so people have told me when they come here, like, I see questions on our Discord server, on our public channel: is this server still active? Is it still active for Valheim? Because when you come, you don't see a lot of channels, but actually we have tons of channels, and
Yeah.
people in various channels. So I'm overhauling it so that you'll see almost everything. There are a couple member channels that you'll see, but maybe locked to you so that you can't post, but unless you become a member. But yeah, we have Discord is overhaul is already underway. And we have a bunch of Valheim servers. We have vanilla, which means no mods. So just, your standard game. And our season 4 server is kind of wrapping up now, and I'm looking to do the season 5 server, but I need to wait till Hilder's request update patch comes out,
Yeah.
because there's going to be such a bunch of cool stuff added to that I want to make sure that it's easily included in the season 5 server. So my hands are kind of tied, because Iron Gate's on vacation right now, and they said that it
some
won't
of
come
Iron
out.
Gate
Yeah, some of them
is on vacation. Yeah.
but yeah, so and they said that it won't come out until the core team gets back, so that they can work out all the bugs. um,
Yeah. All of the very sad bugs.
yeah. So
No, they're
but
working hard though. They're doing a good job.
yeah, and people have played Valheim for quite a while now, because it's been out for more than 2 years. So um, our vanilla servers, the ones with no mods, so they're a little slow, but really the one server that has most of the action right now is our modded server. So because there's some great modders out there creating content, and so we have a server with mods, but even that's hard to keep updated, because a couple of their recent patches broke a bunch of mods. So we're actually running the previous stable version of Valheim for the modded server. So it's it's crazy, because if you want to play regular vanilla, you got to switch to the current game. But if you want to play the modded server, you got to switch to the old game. But then if you want to try the new Hilda's request stuff, you got to switch to the
Beta.
beta. So that's like 3 different versions of Valheim to switch in between. Which I've been doing, because I've been adminning and then testing the new stuff. So it's a little crazy, but yeah, still a lot of fun stuff, and I think Hilder's is going to be fun. But 7 Days to Die server is running the new Alpha 21, and let's see, do I have it ready to show? I wanted to show. Yeah, let's see. Let me switch over. There we go. So for the people who are just listening, I'm showing Steam charts. It's just steamcharts.com. It's a really interesting data here. And, as a content creator, I like to follow this, because I want to see what's the big, exciting games going on right now. Of course, Counter-Strike, Dota, these all the way up to Team Fortress. These top 7 are always here. You can see, more than double the next one at number 8. But as you scroll down to here, 7 Days to Die, look at this. It's up to like 62,000 players a day, which is huge. Alpha 21 is probably the biggest update they've ever done since they released the game 10 years ago. And so many people are loving it. There's so many content creators that are making really good content for the game. And it really is the best version of 7 Days to Die. I think they've ever released. I still have a few things that I would love for them to tweak, but in general, it is really, really, really fun. I've actually already recorded a couple of playthroughs, and I'm looking for an editor to help me edit those. So when I get that, when I find my editor, maybe you'll see some 7 Days to Die playthroughs come up. But yeah, so that's 7 Days to Die. I have a Minecraft server. I know I've mentioned this before. I just need, if anybody knows, I just need a land claim mod. I need to find the right land claim mod, something simple, something that doesn't require too much admin work, so that people can log on and land claim an area, right? Because if you build stuff, you don't want other people messing with it. So once we have that, but then also Conan Exiles has released tons of big updates, and oh my goodness. I've been playing it on Friday nights. I have 2 friends I've known for 35 years. And right now they're playing Conan Exiles. So I hop on Friday night with them because one of them lives really far away. So we don't get to see him, but we get to hang out Friday night and enjoy some spirits and run around trying to play Conan Exiles when you're in happy mode. But yeah, so I'm thinking, so yeah, if you're interested in Conan Exiles, let me know and I will get that server up. They actually have tons of tools for Conan Exiles, so I can actually set almost everything I need without mods for that server. They have a big development team, so they built in all the tools for admins already for that game. So that's cool. And then little game called Imperium Galactic Survival. I might have mentioned it before, but it is still, I think, one of my favorite survival games of all time. It's a space survival game. So just imagine Valheim, but you crash land on Valheim, right? And you run around, you meet little creatures and stuff, and you harvest all your stuff, and you go sailing on your ship. But instead, when you eventually build your big base and you build your land vehicles, you can build a spaceship, then leave the planet and go visit other planets and space stations and enemy ships, and you can fight them and take them over. And it's a charming little game. I just wish it had a bigger audience. The one thing I think that hurts the game is they have so many options, which are good once you get into it. It's a little overwhelming when you look at the interface. You think, oh my goodness, what is all this stuff? But if you just play the game and take it step by step, you start to realize, oh my goodness, this game. Think of any game you've ever played and you think, I wish this was in the game, or this was in the game, or that they allowed this. Well, guess what? Imperium Galactic Survival allows all of it. You can even blueprint every ship you build, every base you build, every space station you build, and upload it, and other people can download it, and you can download other people's stuff. And so it's
cool.
It's super fun. So I kind of
I'm gonna have to look into that because that's actually right up the same alley of a game that I started playing this last week. So
we're gonna be talking about that soon.
Yeah, but okay. I'm letting you finish your stuff.
Yep. Okay,
just
let's
teasers,
say.
Yep,
yeah. Well, and so yeah, if there's another game out there that can have a server run for it that you're interested in, let me know. Like we just love to have good people come and become a part of our community over here at discord.gg/Jiroc the Viking. Come on over, hang out with us, and ask questions, chat with people. But yeah, if there's a gaming server that you're interested in and we can get even, 4 or 5 people regulars on it, it's possible that I can launch a server for it.
I have a game that's coming out in the fall, Jiroc.
Yeah.
And I'll mention it later, but I want it on your radar. I want it on that list.
Oh, cool. Yeah, definitely. If it can have a server, we should definitely talk about it.
Up to 8 people.
Nice. And so if anybody out there, if you're looking, just to play with others, come play with us. Like I said, you could talk to us up over here. I always have to point in the opposite direction that I'm looking.
Right.
Discord.gg/Jiroc the Viking. But if you have friends and you want to run your own gaming server, just remember you can save 10% if you use my link, jiroctheviking.com/gportal, and that link will be in the description as well. But I have a big announcement for my channel in general. Been doing a lot of research, like what do I want to do with my channel? It's been super fun. I've learned so much over the last 2+ years doing a YouTube channel. As a filmmaker, uh, I had a YouTube channel for years and years and years, but it was little short films that I've done, different things like that. But that's not really good YouTube content because that's more like cinematic content, and that's not what people were looking for. So they never really my net channel never got big. They get a few thousand hits and a few hundred subscribers, and people loved, they would praise, how much fun they had watching those things. But that's not really what YouTube is about. It's not like watching television shows or watching movies. But as a filmmaker, that's the kind of stuff I wanted to make, but it's just not proper YouTube content. So it's taken me a while to beat that out of my head of 25 years of filmmaker and filmmaking content, to say, stop making content like that. I've been doing a lot of research, people like Mr. Beast and all the big channels out there, like what do they think makes good content? Because obviously they have huge channels, and it makes sense. Basically, it's like, get to the point, introduce, basically you do intros a certain way, you do the content a certain way, and then the closing a certain way. And I just think, wow, yep, that's what I need to stop doing the filmmaker, because I have a lot of Valheim videos that are like little stories too, and news things.
Mhm.
But so, anyways, my channel is going to start covering other games. Because I want to try other games too, and I always feel guilty when
I have
go ahead.
some suggestions for you, Jiroc.
Yeah, no, I'd totally send me suggestions. But yeah, there's so many games that I want to try. But anytime I play a game, Valheim or any other game, if I'm not recording, I feel guilty. I'm like, I should be recording. I should be recording so that I can have content for my channel. But if I just play, I feel like it's a wasted opportunity. Plus, there's this thing when I'm recording. So I love like the role playing aspect. Like, for example, in 7 Days to Die, there's an empty car, like a car that's broken down on the side of the road, and there's a little ice chest out of the car next to the car. And if I'm playing by myself, I'll just run over, I'll loot the car, I'll loot the ice chest, and then I'll just run away from it. But really, I love to role play every moment of the game. So when I'm recording, because people are watching, I get to role play. So I'll be running down the street, and so the difference of just looting and running away is I go, oh, somebody jacked my car, and I run over. Oh, look, they stole the battery because the car is missing. And then I go, oh, look, they stole my beer from my ice chest. Damn it, So it's like, I love that role playing aspect of it. And when I'm recording, it is work, but it actually increases my enjoyment of it too, rather than just, oh, there's a car, there's a loot container, loot it and run away, right? Like that's what you do when you're just by yourself, not talking to anybody. But but yeah,
sounds like you should be streaming.
Yes,
more than recording. Because recording is more work. You need to do the editing after. Streaming.
Yeah. But that's why I want to find a good editor, because that's another thing when I was looking at doing the research for the channel, just finding the way you should present content is like you record however much you record, but then you only show 20 or 30% of that. It's all the highlights, right? And if you're streaming, yeah, that can be fun, but you're showing everything. But really, I just want to get to that, like, oh my goodness, like all the little jump scares that, oh man, I had so many jump scares when I was playing 7 Days to Die recently by myself. Like the hair standing up on the back of my neck because you didn't know that zombie was right there, that it hits you and you go, ah! So yeah, I'm going to start covering other things, and I might even do some non-game related content that I think people will find interesting. I'll have to test the waters, but yeah. And the whole thing of starting a different channel for other content, I'm not sure I buy into that, because if you really look at the big channels, they actually had done a mix of gaming and real life stuff, and they just blew up. So it, because they found their niche. But I don't know. I'll play with it and see what happens. But so talking about that, covering other things, I wanted to ask you two. We'll start with Morning Darkness. What were some of the games that you really loved, and why, before you discovered Valheim? Like,
I mean, I know we've talked about this before. My first game that I ever really played was Myst, and I loved the puzzle solving. Then I really got into Knights of the Old Republic, the very early Star Wars game. And then I really enjoyed StarCraft, like the original StarCraft. I loved the storytelling aspect of it. The voice acting, all of it just made me real happy. And then I really got into League of Legends, and then I got sick and I couldn't play a lot of games, and it made me really sad until I found Valheim. So those were the first games that really I loved. Like, I really want to just go back and play Knights of the Old Republic again, because I feel like it just makes my heart happy when I go and redo that story every couple of years, and sometimes whatever computer I'm on can't do it anymore
Knights of
because
the
the
Old
graphics are just too old and they
right.
get glitchy.
That was BioWare, right? BioWare, I think, did
Yeah.
that game, and they're known
Yeah.
for storytelling. And
Yeah.
yeah, I remember when I tried Knights of the Old Republic. I was in my stage of like a lot of first-person shooter games and MMORPGs like World of Warcraft or Guild Wars, and I ended up getting so frustrated with all the cutscenes. Like, I wanted to go and move and keep the action going, and so cutscenes in games in general, they turned me off. And but I did enjoy the storylines, so I would try to force myself through them. But yeah, I never did finish the game because of that, because the cutscenes took me out of the action.
Interesting.
Yeah. Gwen, did you ever try any of those games that she mentioned?
Yeah, we've spoken about it a couple of times. I also have played League of Legends.
Yeah.
I don't know how no, I know how I got into it. I got roped into it by friends and my boyfriend at the time. And at the time, I didn't play a lot of games. Well, I've never really been a big gamer anyway. I've never had a console, never really played console games other than like Mario Kart and that kind of party game. But PC gaming, I had done a little bit when I had a PC at home when I was a kid and a teen. Back then, used to play The Sims, the original Sims, and then other similar games like Zoo Tycoon and stuff. All the ways you can create chaos and kill people, which is totally not the intention of the game. But
you just release your animals on your guests.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, you had to experiment, play God for a bit. That's the whole point of those simulation games, right?
Yep.
But no, I played The Sims a lot when I was a kid. I had so it was the original Sims, but I also had like the party expansion pack as well as the Making Magic one. Morning Darkness. I don't know if you've ever played The Sims and tried that, but there was like, yeah. No, not gotten into Sims, but yeah, the Making Magic one was actually like you could tell that it came really late to the franchise as they were developing probably The Sims 2, because the graphics and everything and the gameplay of that expansion pack was so much more advanced, and it was so fun. It introduced lots of really fun things. It was basically also around the time Harry Potter was big, and so yeah, imagine like Harry Potter like stuff, but in The Sims, and it was great fun. So played that, and then Zoo Tycoon. I had also the deluxe version with the expansion packs, which meant I could then have dinosaurs that I could unleash on my guests to test their resolve. Yes, I am a psychopath, basically. But yeah, played that kind of
just
game.
Likes being in control.
Yeah, just like the puppet master. Yeah, so played games like that and various other kind of random PC games. But yeah, League of Legends, I got into it when I was at uni, I think, through friends, and it was my first kind of proper game, online gaming, like mass online. It's a MOBA, so playing with other players. experiencing the toxicity of communities on video games. But you don't really care when you play with friends. And yeah, it's the game that I stuck with mostly because I'm such a slow learner for games. And I've not done, like, I'm really bad at shooters. I'm so bad at shooters, and a lot of like fast-paced games I'm not very good at because I'm not used to it, and it takes me a long while to learn how to play a game. So I got into League of Legends a lot, and then I stuck with it because it was the only game I knew how to play okay-ish. And I still play it every now and then, but I'm still so bad at it. It's crazy. I've been playing it since like 2011, and I'm still so bad at it.
Yeah, you say that about Valheim too.
Oh, I am so bad at Valheim. I mean, that's why people watch my streams, because I'm so bad at the game. It's hilarious.
You say that, but we have an announcement to make in a minute here about a stream competition that you and I were in.
Oh, yeah. But I was carried. I spent half my time being lost in the woods, wandering around. So I can't take any credit. I was part of a very good team.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, we'll get to that here soon. And I saw some of that. I caught a little bit of that stream. But yeah, some of the first games that I loved. It's so funny. When I was in junior high, which is so long ago, I was in the band. I played the trumpet, and I showed up really early in the morning because the band instructor was a really cool guy, and he showed up early, and he would a couple of us, he would give us some, extra pointers and let us play our instruments for a little bit longer, because that was our first class of the day too. So we could play before school started and then right into it. But a lot of times I would show up and I'd be the only one there with him. And there was this little computer in the back, and he would let me go in. So, instead of practicing my instrument like I should have been, I went to the back and I would play this multi-user dungeon, which was just all text based. So that's like my first PC gaming was just descriptions. It's like you're in a room and there's a door to the north and a door to the east, and there's a chest on the floor, and it would just all be in text. And then you'd kind of type in commands, say open the chest, or go through the door, the north, and then it would say, oh, there's a goblin there. What do you do? And I say you run away or you swing your sword, right? You're just telling it. So it's all text-based. But then when I had a friend who had a game called Ultima 4, and the previous versions of Ultima were popular, but not as popular as Ultima 4. The creator, Richard Garriott, even admits that Ultima 4 was when he finally brought everything together, and he feels like Ultima 4 was one of the best versions of the game. But that's what I played, and I actually finally had visuals instead of just text telling me. But it was just all top-down, very simple graphics. But you were this little character, and you could run around this like really huge open world. And you could go into cities, you could go into the castle to talk to the king, and you could steal from people, which I did all the time because you get extra stuff. Or, while you're wandering around in the world, you could, you get attacked by creatures and stuff. But there was something visual. And even though it was super simple graphics, top down, it was just like, oh my goodness, I'm not just reading anymore. I actually have visuals. So my mind added all that extra detail that we now get in like AAA games, right? Like where you can see everything that's beautiful. My mind filled it all in through the simple graphics. And after that was Ultima Online, which was like a better version of it, but you were online and you could play with people. Oh my goodness. That was amazing. Get to do that playing with other people. Then there was a game called Star Wars Galaxies, which was basically an online game. It was like one of the first big MMOs where, because Ultima Online was all top down, right? That isometric top down view. Star Wars Galaxies was one of the first online games where it was like Valheim. It was just like that first person perspective, but a third person camera. So you see yourself, running in front of the camera. And that was amazing. They didn't really have any quests or anything. They didn't really know what they were doing. So you'd run around and there wasn't a lot to do in the game. So you just kind of created your own things to do with everybody. which is a little bit like Valheim, right? In Valheim, there are some things specifically that the game sets you off to do, but really most of Valheim's content is you running around, or if you're playing with other people, running around together and just kind of creating your own fun. And then just one game I wanted to mention, because I met so many good people that I'm still friends with today from the UK, Gwen, called Neocron, and it was a cyberpunk MMO. And I believe it was out of Germany, and they released a Neocron 2 eventually. And then I think the company closed down, and then players continued to run the server to this day. But I wish that game had stayed popular, because it was just one of the most atmospheric and fun games. And as a matter of fact, they did certain things in that game that if I were to ever make a game myself, I would love to include certain things from Star Wars Galaxies and Neocron and even Ultima Online. It's like, and Valheim is like, there's all these little things from each of these games that they do right, but none of them do everything right.
All of it.
And I want to combine all these little things that I felt were really good, like just little mechanics that I thought were great from each one. But yeah, and then there's other games that I played, but those are the ones that I really fell in love with, that made me fall in love with gaming. And then of course, then I went through my first person shooter stage, and I went through MMORPGs, which were fun for a while, but really it was survival games where, you have the open world to do whatever you want, go wherever you want, build whatever you want. And now it's just like, I'm always looking for whatever the new survival games that are out there, and I want to try them all. But there's some hybrids too that we'll talk about here coming up right now, because I want to talk about games that we're looking forward to. MD, can you tell us what are maybe a few games that you're really looking forward
to?
And
I think you're gonna like some of these, Jiroc.
Yeah.
Like specifically, I think you're gonna want to dedicate a server to maybe one or two of some of the things I'm about to tell you about.
Okay.
So first of all, one of the games that I'm really looking forward to is Enshrouded. It's a co-op survival action RPG for up to 16 players. And it looks real cool. I think they're just now entering beta testing, so they are planning on releasing it this year.
Okay.
And I recommend just go and watch a trailer for it. It looks real good. It looks like they definitely took some inspiration from Valheim and then took it to a couple of new levels. And so yeah, definitely that one looks good. Another one that I have been absolutely chomping at the bit for, they have a new release date for fall of this year, is Lord of the Rings Return to Moria.
Yes.
It's a survival crafting game for 8 players. Another one that might be a good multiplayer option. And then I'm very much looking forward to PAX Day. It's a medieval fantasy-based MMO. And they just entered a VIP alpha testing, and then they're going to be opening it up to the people who have applied for the public test or for the alpha testing probably in the next couple of months. So I'm really looking forward to being a part of that. I hope they accept my application.
Yeah.
I've only invited like 50 people to use my friend code.
And that PAX Day, that when you apply, you can apply with a group code, right? So you could get accepted with the group. And I think I signed up in your group.
You used mine, right? Yeah.
So yeah, maybe we get to play together.
I really hope so. I really, really hope so. And then another one that I'm really looking forward to is Baldur's Gate 3.
Oh, yeah,
and I don't know if you played any. Oh my gosh, I don't know if you've played any of the older Baldur's Gate games, but it's it's D&D Forgotten Realms, Return to Forgotten Realms, and they've got all kinds of new and exciting things. And this is going to be a really big game. I think. I think it's going to have a lot of content. An excessive amount of content.
Yeah. That Baldur's Gate has always been a huge, growing up, it's just something I had always heard of. And when I played the very first one, and didn't really play any of the spin-offs or expansions or anything that they did, but that would be definitely something to check out, especially if you can play with Can you? Is it going to be co-op or multiplayer? Do you know?
I don't think so. I think you
Mm.
get to gather your party like you do on any of these games where you gather NPCs
Mm.
from inside the game. But I don't know. I think that one's just gonna be a single player kind of thing, but it still looks real good.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool. Yep. Yep. Those actually all those I'm very interested in. Enshrouded especially, and they're running a
Oh, yeah.
beta for Enshrouded now, and I'm
Yep.
gonna have to figure out if I can get in on that beta. I'm
You gotta
seeing.
join their Discord and apply, I
Yeah.
guess.
Yep. What about you, Gwen? Is there any games that we're gonna see on the Gwendolorian's channel?
Yeah. Well, as you know, I don't have a huge amount of time to play games, even Valheim. And I just don't tend to play many games. But given that my channel is all about kind of medieval Viking stuff, there's definitely some medieval-ish games that I do want to try and that I would like to either stream or make content for. There's one that's already been released as an early access, a very small indie game called Inculinati, and it's like a turn-based, not turn-based strategy, but like it's a turn-based game, I guess. I don't know any of the gaming terminology, so forgive me if I get it wrong. But essentially, it's the art style is all like medieval manuscripts. So
Mm.
you know the really silly kind of medieval illuminations on the sides of manuscripts where you get like rabbits riding snails to battle, all that crazy stuff, because monks, I don't know, went a little bit crazy on their ale and mead, I guess, sometimes, and drew really wacky stuff. And so it's inspired by that sort of like weird medieval humor and weird like art style. And yeah, the game looks really good. It's I saw it when they announced it late last year. I think they opened the early access to at the end of January, and they keep releasing new content for it. I haven't yet had a chance to try it out, but it's very heavily inspired by the 12th century. Like there are some you can play as different characters, and some of the characters are people in the 12th century, which is the period that I cover with my reenactment. So I really want to play it with some of my reenactor friends, all wearing like full chainmail and outfits while playing it, just for
Hell
kicks and
yeah.
giggles. So that's my plan. At some point, I want to try Inculinati. It looks like a really fun little indie game. And another one that I've been keeping an eye on, which is a survival game, but a lot more realistic than Valheim, let's say, in graphics and stuff, and based in the medieval period as well, is a game called Medieval Dynasty. And it's been out for a while. I think you probably know about it. The only reason I've not played it yet was that it was solo play only, and I don't do solo games. I just don't have the time. I would rather play with friends if I'm gonna play. However, they very recently announced that they will be launching a co-op version of the game
Oh, that's
very
cool.
soon, towards the
Mm.
end of this year, and they've opened up applications for the beta testing of the co-op release this month. So I saw that, got very, very excited. Definitely going to apply, and hopefully, if I don't get to play the beta of it, I hope that I'll get to play it whenever it's released towards the end of the year. And that looks really cool because so it's a survival game, much like Valheim, except it does have NPCs and things, and you can kind of like basically recruit NPCs to form part of your village and that kind of thing. And it seems to be pretty realistic and pretty true to history, which is one of my criteria for some of these games. No, it's not real criteria, but I am curious about it, and it looks pretty cool. And it's probably the closest that I'll ever get to like role playing games. It looks like an RPG cross survival game, and I am pretty excited to give it a try.
Very cool.
Oh, you're muted, Jiroc.
Oh, I was saying
Uh-huh.
I'd be interested in trying that too if you're looking to do some co-op stuff.
Yeah.
Looks pretty interesting. And yeah, this is an article talking about what you just said about them getting ready to do co-op.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, I watched a few like gameplay videos a while back when I was looking at other kind of medieval themed games. And it looked really good and I really wanted to try it. At the time I was like, oh, I'm not sure my laptop can deal with it. And also it was like only solo, so I didn't bother trying it. But now that I have a new PC and it will be released on co-op, I'll definitely be trying it out. There's, I'm sure, lots of other games that I'll be trying in the future, but I'll say more about that later.
Well, yeah, we do need content for the next podcast too. There's always updates to games and new games getting announced, and it'll be fun once we actually can start talking about some of these new games that we're trying to give our thoughts on it. The good and the bad, or whatever. For each one. But so I actually pre-ordered a game, and I spent a lot of money on it. So I'm gonna have to figure out a way to monetize. Wait, which one do you think it is?
Is it Starfield?
Yes. So Starfield is a huge game.
They just announced it, and it looks. Oh.
Well, yeah. So it's been in development for 8 years by Bethesda, who did all the Morrowind and Skyrim and Elder Scrolls stuff. RPG is basically their bread and butter. Lots of storylines, lots of cutscenes, which is the one thing I'm not looking forward to. I hate clicking on something and then lose control of my character while a cutscene's happening and characters are talking back and forth. I'd rather click on a character and let it start talking, and then I can just bounce around and run around in circles. Like that's what I want to do. I just want to have control of my character. So, but
oh man.
Yeah, Starfield is basically, let me just for anybody who is watching, it's a game where you basically you can build your own ship, and you can build your own space station, and there are cities where you can you're exploring planets. They're going to have like over around 1,000 planets that use both a combination of procedural generation for the planet. So like if I go to a planet and Morning Darkness goes to that same planet, we will actually have 2 different planets because they will both procedurally generate. They will have each planet will have handmade content too. Not every planet, but a lot of the planets will have handmade content that spawns in somewhere on the planet too. But each planet is procedurally generated. That way, if you play through the game again, the planet will be different. So you get to explore it in a different way each time. But it's kind of, it has some elements of survival to it. You have to gather stuff. I don't think you have to keep like food and water up. I don't think it's that kind of survival. But you do have to gather your own materials to build your own things, so you can build your own ship, your own bases and stuff. But this really, I think, is one of the biggest games that's ever been developed. It's a AAA company developing a game over 8 years. So how can I not try it? It's going to be one of the biggest games in history. Might be one of the biggest successes and one of the biggest failures, or somewhere in between. Who knows? But it's $70 for the game, and you can pre-order it now. And if you pre-order, I think you get access to the game like 5 days early, if that matters to you. And it releases in September. Like that's the launch date, so it's right around the corner. And I actually bought the super duper deluxe bundle because I've been looking at getting a smartwatch, and I just have not pulled the trigger yet. And they're actually selling a smartwatch that's you use in the game that comes, if you buy the deluxe version, you get a smartwatch. So the game's $70, but the smartwatch version is like over $300 because you get a smartwatch. So I hope the smartwatch is good. So I'll probably do a whole unboxing video and a review of that watch too, since I'm killing two birds with one stone since I was going to get a smartwatch anyways. But yeah, and it's a little bit of like first person shooter, as you can see here too. Like you run around and
I'm actually having to look away.
Yeah. So those elements, but I think you can zoom out and you can run around in like that third person perspective too, which might make it a little easier. But it is kind of a more actiony, fast paced action game. But yeah, so that'll be interesting. And so obviously I'm going to have to cover it a little bit on I want to do a video on 10 reasons to play it, for me, why I want to play it, and then 10 reasons why you might not want to play it. You might see those videos soon, because there are some things about this game that I don't like. And Gwen actually mentioned it. It's not co-op. This huge game and it's not co-op. And that's just like a huge bummer. I mean, at least I can run around and do my playthrough and do my role playing, by myself. But, in the end, I would want to experience things with other players. And so it's not multiplayer. It's not co-op. Although they said maybe in the future, maybe. And then there's always modders that can mod the game like they did with Skyrim has been modded for co-op. So maybe. But yeah, it's always better when the game developer includes that function. So we'll see. I don't know. I mean, I've already paid for it. So hopefully at least the smartwatch is good. And then there's this, so talking about survival games, there's a survival game called Forever Skies. Have you guys heard of it?
Nope. Yeah.
So basically it's this like post-apocalyptic world. You have an airship, which is your main base, and your travel around the world. And this is this amazing post-apocalyptic world that you fly your airship around, and then you get out of your airship and you explore and check out the world. And, you gather resources, and then you keep adding on and building up your ship. See, your airship is your base, and there, and those images there. But this looks like a cool world. I'm a sucker for anything that's like sci-fi, especially if it's post-apocalyptic. I just love running around in the world when it's been destroyed, and then I get to help rebuild it, by rebuilding my little piece of it. So, and this game you can play right now. So I might, it's early access though. So there's a lot of, things that they can change and upgrade. I've been watching a few other videos on it, but if you're into survival and this looks like something that you're interested in, you might check it out. Again, this is not yet co-op, but it is going to be co-op. They've already announced that it will be co-ops, but it's not implemented yet because it's so early access. But I would love to play this game with either of you if you're interested when it becomes co-op, because I don't know, it looks like fun, but who knows? Sometimes the interfaces of these games are what kill it for me. Like that one where you're shrunk down and you're running around in somebody's backyard or among the grass. I forget.
Yeah, that survival one.
Grounded, yes.
Grounded.
The interface just kind of killed the game for me a little bit, although I still had fun with it, but the interface was, I just didn't like it. So I think these games that really simplify their interfaces are what make them, I think, help make them super popular. I think that's actually one of the reasons Valheim is so popular, because its interface is really, really intuitive and simple. So hopefully they rethink that a little bit in their early access to try to make it, if they haven't already, Forever Skies and other games. Consider your interface. That's what's actually killed, like I said, Imperium Galactic Survival is, going through and overhauling their interface, because I think it's a little overwhelming for players. But then I wanted to show you guys on the Steam charts again. So check this out. There's this game.
Yes.
A friend of mine messaged me, have you heard of tried the game Dave the Diver yet? And I just replied, no, never heard of it. Sounds stupid. Dave the Diver, what the heck? And
I've watched some gameplay on this.
Yeah. And look at this little chart right here. So it released and then it went whoop, it's one of the top 20 or so games here at 22, and it just released like a week or two ago. And let's see, I think I have the video queued up. So you're this little character who runs a sushi shop and then goes into the ocean, I guess, to get fish for your sushi shop. And it's these really simple graphics, but this kind of funny animation and story stuff. And apparently these characters, even though they act goofy, I watched a video on it, it says they get deeper than you might expect in the storytelling. Have you tried it, Morning, or seen videos on it?
I've been watching some gameplay by Bald Zebra, and it's got some really interesting storyline role play, some terrifying scenarios. And it looks real cool. There are some things that are still kind of bugged about it, but it looks real cool.
Yeah, it looks like fun, but yeah, I don't know. It's not the kind of game that I normally try out, but it's even when I was looking at other videos on it, it's sort of hard to classify as to what kind of game it is. When you run a sushi shop, in addition to like traveling, and apparently there's all kinds of little mini games that are not just swimming around in the ocean. There's a ton of mini games, in addition to running your sushi shop and keeping your customers happy. So yeah, I don't know. If there were an abundance of free time, it might be something that I would try, but I just wanted to mention it because it's sort of taking the Steam charts by storm. So maybe somebody should, if anybody was interested, then I just wanted to put it out there. I'm sure you're already seeing videos on it. Let's see.
It reminds me a lot of those mid 2000s or 2010s browser games, the free browser games.
Yes, it is. It does have a little bit of that
style
vibe.
and stuff. Yeah, those kind of like random games that you could play just on the web browser. Yeah, it looks fun. It looks hella chaotic.
Yeah.
There's like different art styles and gameplays and things all mixed up in one.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So if that looks like something you'd want to try, I almost want to try it just because it looks so different than any other game that I've ever seen with all its various elements. But I might have to try Forever Skies first since it's out now too. But let's talk about let's see, Valheim news. Valheim news. So
let's get to the whole point of the podcast.
Yeah. Yes. Well, the podcast is now going to do a lot of variation in content, but we do like to cover one of our favorites, Valheim, of course, because I want to do a playthrough once Hilder's request patch comes out. Because that content.
Let me know if you want company during that playthrough.
Yes, we should consider doing that if we can find Gwen any free time that she has too.
I know.
But yeah, we could talk about that. But so yeah, Iron Gate's on vacation as we mentioned earlier, and they released the first video of the Ashlands. I did do a whole video on it. And
yes, you did.
Sure you both have seen it. Let's just run it here. So for those just
haven't yet
listening.
Oh yes.
This will be my raw reaction to it because I haven't kept up with Valheim news.
Yeah.
Right, so we've got spines sticking up out of the ground, and we've got meteors falling from the sky. We've got dead trees in the background. Very tall pine tree-like looking trees.
This is very apocalyptic, actually.
Yes.
The floor is not quite lava, but you can tell that it's
hot.
It does look hot.
Yeah, I wonder if you need heat protection just to survive in this biome. Like, when you go into the mountains, you need cold protection.
I would imagine.
Look how hot that ground looks.
Yeah.
If you look at the character, it looks like he's wearing carapace armor.
Yes,
which would make sense because that's the latest.
Yes.
armor set that you get from the previous biome, the Mistlands.
Oh, look, he's being
he's
chased by
getting
something.
chased.
Yeah, there's one of those fiery
The
undead
charred?
skeleton. Yeah, the charred
charred.
skeleton with a big long sword chasing him.
Oh wow.
So,
That looks stressful. It looks like you have to avoid those meteors falling from the sky constantly. So
Well,
the environment is trying to harm you.
I
The
would
mobs are
assume that
trying
this
to
is like
harm
an event of some kind.
yeah, so Jonathan Smars, one of the programmers, he posted this, and he did say in the comments that this is an event. This is not something that will be
Oh.
going on constantly.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, I mean, how would you build in the Ashlands if this was just
Yeah.
constantly going on? And we don't know
Oh my gosh,
exactly
could you
what that
imagine
event
trying
is,
to
though.
Build with this going on? Like what
Yeah.
what would survive that?
Maybe the marble.
Well, I think the marble is
from
fire
the
resistant, so I
Islands.
think that would work.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Mm.
so that's yeah, that's the first video of the Ashlands, which it just looks awesome. I love that they're
It
doing something very different, like they did with the Mistlands. You know, whether you love or hate the Mistlands because of the mist and the visual problem, you know, seeing through the mist is an issue. At least they did something very different than the other biomes, because all the other biomes, they're a little different from each other in landscape, but they, you know, basically running around, it feels very similar. Mistlands feels very different, and at least with this event going on, this looks like a whole new thing too, very different. Plus, the POIs here are not going to be dungeons anymore. Remember, all the other things in the game are dungeons. These are going to be POIs. They're going to be surface fortresses that you just come across on the ground, and then, you know, have to attack, you know, with the new siege. That's the word I'm looking for. You have to siege them with the new siege weapons that are coming. So,
well, looking at this, it's making me miss the Surtlings already. Nice little the Surtlings throwing the little fireball. They look really vanilla compared to this. This looks scary.
But yeah, I think that'll be tons of fun. And then the next big update that they released was new update to Hilder's Close. Gwen, have you heard about this?
I have heard about this, I think, if that's the one.
So right here, this is also posted by Jonathan. He's looking at the simple dress here, the brown one right there. And if you look down here, base item stamina use minus 20%. There's a total of minus 35% because of something else that they're wearing. So now
the hat.
The new clothes that you get will lower the stamina cost of doing stamina things.
That's pretty good.
I called it.
Yep.
A year ago, we were talking about it with Thorin at the time, and we were saying, oh, it would be nice to have actual, like, everyday homestead clothes that would give
It'll
you
be
buffs.
So you nice to farm in that. Yeah, that's going to be real useful.
Yeah, that's exactly what we were saying. We wanted items that would help with the everyday kind of homestead chores, to like stamina for farming, maybe some sort of other buff with an item for cooking, so you can cook more items or more efficiently or quicker or something like that. We could still have an apron.
Yeah.
I hope they'll do something like that. But already, like the stamina decrease or stamina use decrease that we get from those new clothing items are going to make farming so much better.
Yeah. I would love to see them do other bonuses, non-combat bonuses for the clothes as well. Like you said, cooking or something else. But
like imagine if you had an apron that when you cook, the crafting time or the cooking time for your items is decreased.
Or the likelihood where you get multiples of the same food for the normal resources. Yeah.
Like a better yield with your cooking, something like that. That would be so good, because for anyone who plays the game, but even more so plays with other people, when you're the person assigned to go cook the food or go do the farming for the whole group, it can be a bit of a chore sometimes. just because of how long it takes to do everything. So yeah, I'm super glad. I'm really excited about that. It will also make it make sense to wear those clothing items other than just cosmetics. So yeah, can't wait to try to play the new update when it comes out.
And tell me what you guys think. But a friend of mine I was talking to recently about Valheim, and we were talking about this update to the clothing and how it will help farming, especially because farming is a huge chore, especially if you're like playing with the other people and you're doing a lot of farming for a bunch of people. He was saying, right now you have to go and you have to pick each one of the items individually, right? You have to click on it and pop it up off the ground. You can use, weapons to farm flax and barley right from the, by just swiping the ground and hitting them. But everything else, you can't just hit it and swipe to farm those, which is unusual. So he was saying that he thinks that they should allow everything else to be swiped with the weapon, or let the hoe, with its little circle, wherever you put that circle and you activate it, like maybe with a modifier key, it just pops all those things up out of the ground for you. So you could just run around quickly, popping them up all out of the ground, and you obviously picking them up
so much fun
as you're running around. Because right now you're gonna pick it and then run to the next one and pick it and run to the next one and pick it, and it's like really tedious. So yeah,
I think they could do something fun again with the additions of the new content from the new biomes and new materials and stuff. There's opportunity for technology advancement there. Yeah. They could give you like with the new biomes, let you unlock materials to craft a new piece of farming, like a farming equipment, farming tool that will allow you to, like a little something like a wheelbarrow or something like that. That if you just use that and run over your crops, it would pick them for you. Yeah.
Yeah, they pick.
I think that would be a good opportunity to do something like that rather than doing something a bit more cheesy, like using a hoe and a circle.
Well, yeah, but it's just interesting too that like you can swipe all those other plants.
Yeah.
But you can't swipe some of them.
But it makes sense because the barley, that's how you would need a scythe. Scythe? Yeah. That's how you collect barley. You can't collect vegetables that way, especially root vegetables. You have to pick them out of the So it makes sense, like realistically. But
but we don't want realism in our games. We want fantasy and adventure and ease of use. But a little bit of realism is fun. What's that, Morning?
Why not all of the above?
Yeah, there you go.
I want a wheelbarrow. One more opportunity to do fun races with friends.
Yeah, that's fun. Well, yeah, it would be nice too if like the wheelbarrow and the hand drawn cart, you could actually click in it so that you actually sit in it, right? Instead of just like hopping on it, because when you try to drag somebody when they hop in it, they fall out all the time, right? Especially if you're in a multiplayer environment, because of the networking issues, people just fall out super easy. But it'd be fun if they could just sit in it, because I would love to go AFK and have somebody drag me to the location that we need to get to.
We tried that I'll be right on my last stream. Yeah, we tried that. We called it the Viking Uber.
Viking Uber.
Really.
Oh, that's funny. Viking Uber. So, and then one of the other big updates they came out with was, let's see, how does he call it? He says, how about a copy build piece function? So you would shift and middle click to select building pieces instead of selecting it from the build menu. And as I said, I have a mod that does this now, and it would be great to not have to use the mod, but watch this. So without opening the build menu, he's here in this video, he's selecting various pieces just by shift and clicking on them. Because, you change pieces a lot when you're building, but then you have to open the menu. You got to go to the right tab. You got to find the piece, especially when the more pieces you have. Like early game, when you only have, the basic wood pieces, it's not that big a deal. But, late game, when you're trying to build, you have so many pieces. Like I find myself going, where is it at? on this darn list? I have looked at the list of pieces 4 or 5 times from top to bottom before I finally found it, like, because I keep passing it, passing it. But so I think this is huge quality of life for decorating too, right? Like if you're decorating and you could just select, the decorative piece, because you need to put a whole bunch of them on the table or around on the walls or whatever. So, but yeah, like I said, I have a mod that does this now, but I'd rather not have to use that mod because it's an admin mod. And when I play, I don't like to use my admin mods. So huge quality of life. He even hinted that maybe an undo function might be good.
Yes. Yes. That would be so good.
I'm not exactly sure how that would work, but an undo function might be cool too. So we'll have to see if he implements that. He doesn't show any example of what it might be, but he talks about it in the comments here.
Yeah.
So cool. And as I said, I want to do a Hilder's Request playthrough.
Yes.
And maybe some of you out there will want to do it with us, if time permitting and schedules permitting. It's funny, even though.
I can't wait.
What's that, Gwen?
I was just saying I can't wait for it to be out. I was expecting it to be out before they went on holidays, but
yeah,
I think we probably won't have it until August now.
They had a pretty major snag where Hilder wouldn't spawn in for dedicated servers.
I remember you saying.
And I think they're still struggling with that one. Because they have like a workaround, but the workaround didn't work for us. So yeah.
Because I usually customize the servers a little bit. I create it in my single player world and then upload it. But yeah, so, and that's the way to get it for sure. But yeah, if you're just creating it through the server, to have the server create a new world for you, and if it's not generating, then yeah, that would be an issue. And I wonder if they've got it working with pre-existing worlds already. If you haven't, at least if you have areas you haven't explored, so you can run into her. I don't know.
Technically, yes. Technically, that does work. Once again, it's just a matter of it working versus her actually spawning in versus all of the dungeons that she does actually spawning in.
Well, yeah, because I was looking when I went into the test version and I did some tests in the console, searching for Hilder's location. There's actually 10 of them.
Yeah.
So unlike Haldor, which I think there's 3 or 5. How many Haldor locations are there potentially? I forget.
It's either 5 or 7.
Something like that. But with hers, there were 10 possible locations. Then obviously once you find it, then all the other possible locations get deleted. But there were 10 for her, but only 3 of each dungeon. So if you've already explored the world in those areas where the 3 can spawn, I'm not sure how they would spawn in your pre-existing world, unless you use a mod to reset it somehow, which is what we're going to have to do with our long-running servers. So, but we do have our resource server that resets, so people can find it every time the resource server resets. Which
Haldor also has 10.
Oh, does he have 10 also?
Yeah, Haldor has 10 possible spawn locations that are located in Black Forest.
Okay, yeah. So there you go. That actually I can see how that helps pre-existing worlds, because hopefully you didn't explore all 10 of those locations. Hopefully, fingers crossed. But
it doesn't feel like it though when you're like searching for that Haldor.
Yeah, you just can never find him.
No.
It can take. Sometimes you run into it early in your playthrough, and then sometimes just it can take forever. Just how lucky do you get, right?
Yeah, in my solo world, it took me so long to find it. So long.
So yeah, that's the Valheim news. Pretty exciting. When you add in all of the Hilder's updates with, Hilder, the new clothes, stamina additions to them, the 3 new locations, the new mini boss that comes with each new location. One of those locations being an above world location, not just a dungeon, which is something I've always wanted, more above world locations that were like substantial, not just like a couple of little stone ruins. That's really exciting. But then you've got, these quality of life things with the stamina to the clothes. And also we have the new building position, right? Like you're going to be able to do a modifier key when you place a build piece. You can place it on top, or it'll go underneath, or to one of the extra snap points.
You can toggle between the extra snap points. Yes.
Yeah, that and then of course sampling pieces. Like there's no better time for anybody to come back or try Valheim for the first time once Hilder's update comes, if it comes with all these extra quality of life things. It's really starting to feel more and more like a finished game, which is exciting. I can't wait to when we're talking back years ago when we played back in the day. I remember when Valheim was just skin and bones, and now it's got all this fun stuff that makes it a full game. So exciting to be a part of the development.
It's also nice that they take into account what people are saying, like the players, their experience of the game, and taking into account the feedback, and also clearly getting inspired by a lot of mods that exist and incorporating those features into the game. So yeah, it's nice that Iron Gate has always been very open to hearing the feedback from the community.
Yeah, and there was a YouTuber who did a video specifically on the Hilder's update and mentioned that there seems to be a huge problem with it, that there's no bonus to the clothes. Like only the role players are going to want to go and do these things. I mean, you want to do it to experience the new location and kill the mini bosses, but then the reward seemed, if you're not into role playing, it wasn't that exciting for the non-role players. Like they want more.
You need a function.
They want a functional
you need a function
item
to the new items. Yeah.
Yeah. So. And shortly after that video, he announced the stamina thing. So I don't know if he saw that video or there was more feedback on their Discord, but they're listening. There
was quite a bit of feedback on the Discord. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, so before we close up here, let's talk about some of the fun videos that we have put out since our last podcast. MD, what have you been up to over there on the Twitches?
Much. I mean, it's been 2 weeks? All right. I
think it's been 3.
Gosh. Yeah. I did the biome build challenge last night. So Jiroc, you've seen the castle that hubby and I have been building in the Mistlands, right? Yeah. So because our current world save is sort of locked in the public test branch along with our current characters, and we don't really want to do any more progress in case we have to call back some stuff because our Hilder didn't spawn in and a lot of that stuff didn't work. We decided to do a chaos trick stream where we let chat summon monsters into our castle to see how long it took to destroy it. And a lot of it was still standing after 4 hours of summoned creatures.
Wow. That's a fortress that you built.
Oh man, it was crazy. I think we had 73 events spawned in, and Chaos Tricks just did an update where you can summon an event called Logeddon.
Oh no.
Logeddon, where actual tree trunks just fall from the sky.
Oh wow.
And it was absolutely hysterical. And then I've been on Jiroc's Ancient servers, still doing a build over there, just kind of having fun, messing around. And I know it's temporary, but I might have to get that blueprinted.
Oh yeah, and the seasonal worlds I always upload for all my patrons to have access to, so you can always revisit it if you want.
Yeah. And then I did a Star Wars stream where I'm still playing Star Wars Fallen Order, which totally has cutscenes that take away your control from the player for cutscenes, and it sort of integrates them. So Jiroc, you would hate it. And then I I actually did a new game that I think both of you would like. It is single player, but it's so addicting. It is a build your own spaceship survival crafting game called Space Haven. It's currently on Steam sale for like $10.
Oh.
And it has sucked me in. Oh my goodness, that game is ridiculous. It's early access, but I guess it's been early access for a while now. But it has all kinds of content, and the tutorial is a little bit incomplete, I would say. I think the biggest tip on playing that game is start your research station and start researching things early so you can
Right.
actually progress. But it's oh man, I did that on stream and it was a really fun game. And I've been playing it sort of in the background on a number of occasions over the last couple weeks.
And is that one co-op
Week?
or
Week.
multiplayer?
No, I wish. I really
Single
wanted to
player
play it with my
still?
husband, but it is single player.
Hmm.
But it's a fun little just, "Oh, I'm just gonna do this little thing," you know?
Mm-hmm.
And then, Gwen and I were part of a team that did a charity stream for the Trevor Project.
Yeah.
And do you wanna talk about the competition, Gwen?
Yeah. So how many of us? 6 of us got together. So it was Morning Darkness over on Twitch, and Miel, who and my sister. Miel is my sister's friend, and they're both artists. They both work in the animation industry, and Miel is also over on Twitch, but does art streams. So very different. But they just so happen to play Valheim as well. And so and then we also had over on YouTube, we had Erica from Ericant Game, and Kongville Gaming, both
yeah.
players that both streamers that I really really like. And Kongville actually played with us on No Map quite a bit on season 3, and yeah, so I had this idea. Well, this idea. I've been wanting to do another charity stream because last time we did one was last year, I believe, and Morning Darkness and Jiroc as well were involved, and it was for International Women's Day, and we were supporting the Malala Fund that time. And yeah, it's been over a year since that charity stream, and I've really wanted to do something for Pride Month. It's a cause that is very close to my heart and to my sister's heart as well. And so we've been having fun anyway, doing a bit of Valheim together, and I've streamed some of it. But I really wanted to do a stream with her. So that's how it started. And then she recruited some people, I recruited some people, and the 6 of us came together and did this really, really fun stream. And it was basically a 2-team challenge. So we were split, kind of YouTube streamers versus Twitch streamers. It ended up being, right? So that was fun. And we had to collect the materials and build the 6 banners to form a rainbow, basically, of banners. Because now in the game we have pretty much all the rainbow colors. Within a limited amount of time. I think we had 3 hours for the challenge, and we had to basically collect all the different items, build our rainbow, and have like some sort of display, because we were judged not only on the number of banners that we were able to complete, but also on the display. And this challenge is actually Morning Darkness came up with it. We crowdsourced a bit of the ideas, but the way you put it together worked really, really well. I think we had 3 hours, was a perfect timing, because it was just enough that we could do it, but also...
But if anything went wrong...
and it did go wrong, you could also really miss by just a couple of minutes. And yeah, so it was a very fun challenge to do. It forced you to go into the meadows, of course, the Black Forest, but also dip into the plains and into the swamps to gather the materials for some of the banners. And yeah, it was it forced you to also farm, because you need carrots for the orange banner.
Yep.
So you had to time everything well. You had to find the plains and swamps.
Glitch out on you and eat all of the ore that you mind.
So yeah, it was a really, really fun challenge. It was fun to do an event like that with a limited amount of time, and yeah, we had great fun with it. And most importantly, we were doing that as a fundraiser to collect donations for the Trevor Project, which is a charity that is one of the leading charities to support the LGBTQ community and the mental health. As it is unfortunate that a lot of, especially trans youth, are more likely to commit suicide than other youth. And so the Trevor Project really focuses on mental health for young people within the LGBTQ community and provides support, counseling, etc., etc. And they do a really fantastic job. So we wanted to support that charity, and we managed to collect $2,150, I think.
Did. There's
Yep.
image
Yeah.
right there.
Yes, that's
That
how
was
much we raised so
awesome.
far.
Our goal was 1,000.
Our
Yeah.
goal was 1,000, so we
I
surpassed
knew
that.
that our group could collect 2,000.
That was my stretch goal. I was like, oh my god, if we do 1,000, it will be amazing. If we manage to stretch it to like 1,500, that will be really, really good. But yeah, everyone was watching the streams both on YouTube and Twitch were very, very, very generous with their donations. We had a lot of support. The fundraiser link is still up. We still it's still open. So anyone who hears about this just now and is thinking, oh my God, I also want to contribute, I also want to support, feel free to go on that link. That's on the screen right now. And it will be also in the description. So for anyone who's just listening to the audio podcast, we will make sure to add a link in the description. Otherwise, it's www.give.thetrevorproject.org. And you can do either /Gwen, and that will probably be the easier one. Otherwise, /Rainbow Shield Wall, which was the name of our team, of our group.
Yeah. And I will say, Gwen's team won.
Oh yeah, so team YouTube won. Woo!
Because you let the viewers vote, right? You let the viewers vote, and
so there were subtracted points for. Oh yeah, so that's my team's banner display.
Yeah.
Hey, this is a spoiler alert, by the way. Anyone who wants to rewatch the stream, make sure to go.
They
go
gotta
check
see
it out.
the adventures, though. They're so fun.
The adventures, getting there. It's the journey that matters.
It was very fun.
But with our powers combined, we were able to make all 6 banners. The red team did not have the orange banner. The blue team did not have the red, orange, or green banner. And nor did we have much of a display at all.
Yeah.
But it was a lot of good fun. And yeah, our powers combined, we did bring the flags together and get a full display. So that was good.
It was really interesting because it really forced you to be quite organized and plan to. And I honestly did not think that we were that team. I mean, if you know Kongville, Erica, and I are probably the 3 most chaotic Valheim streamers out there. We're very, very good at dying and getting distracted. Not so good at actually.
Sure. But remember, between Miel and Jack, I think they had a combined under 100 hours between the two of them.
Yes, that is true. You had the 2 newbies. You had the 2 noobs with you. The 2 French noobs.
My chat kept calling them the puppies, and they kept yelling at me for leaving the puppies alone.
It was so funny because I watched some of the clips that you sent of like you trying to save them or dying and so on. And they were both just running around like headless chicken every time you would die, and they would panic because they didn't know what to do. They was like, no. It was so hilarious. I need to rewatch that VOD of your team's perspective because that was something so funny.
Yeah. And then just one last thing that I've been working on. I have also been working on a new YouTube tutorial.
Ooh.
And I sent you a picture, Jiroc.
Oh yeah, let's see. You've got it posted
I
over on
posted a
Instagram.
spoiler. So I actually built a set piece to film the decor of my next tutorial, but I feel like there's a lot going on here.
Well, it looks like there's a
There is,
chandelier, interesting floor
yeah.
pattern, a lot of stuff
Mhm.
going on.
There's also, I don't know if you can see right kind of where you put your mouse. I've got a little bar area over there where I put a forge cooler with a whole bunch of meads in it, like a drink cooler.
Oh,
Oh, nice.
yeah, right over there. Yeah.
Mhm. And then also kind of front and center, I kind of actually hit it with how busy everything is. Front and center, and then go up. Ta-da! That is the subject of my new tutorial.
The
How
dragon
to
part,
nope, how
the
to stack
ovens.
ovens.
Oh, yeah. I guess if you try to put one on another oven normally, it doesn't want to
Nope,
go.
nope,
So you have a trick to this.
I do.
Oh,
So,
yeah. People will probably
I
definitely want to know that because that helps save space, so you don't have to,
Mhm.
it
build them out long ways.
and it doesn't require iron.
Oh wow, even better. Well, yeah, that's actually one of my. I have a few complaints about Valheim that I thought would make a good video. It's just like, love, but you can always, point out a few things, and it's how much space certain things take, like
Yep,
chests. Like I got to have walls and walls of chests because I think
yeah.
they should have more storage so I don't have to have walls. But yeah, now you're saving space with ovens too, so that's awesome.
Yeah, so that's my new tutorial coming out. I've taken all the recording, now I'm just editing all the things together again and crying again.
Yeah, yeah, the editing is takes a little while. But
But yeah, so I had a lot of fun building this set piece though. This was actually a huge time sink that I took that I was just like, I have to do this. I had this whole concept that I had to build this whole set piece and then I did this thing and it's just to teach a thing and it's just like, okay.
did you build this all off camera? So not during
I
a
did.
stream? Oh,
I
okay.
did build this all well, okay, there was one stream where I sort of did a little bit, but I
Mm,
did most of this off camera. Yeah.
yeah. Well, I love what you've done with the floor here. Some interesting
Yeah, that was so
patterns, and
interesting.
you've incorporated wood into it also. There
Mhm.
looks like.
Yeah, I did do a smaller version of that on one of my streams on your Ancients server in my new kitchen build that I've been working on. Uh, so I did show kind of how to do this flooring.
Cool. Very cool. Yeah, well, looking forward to that tutorial.
Yeah, me too. Looking forward to be done.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's the trick. Figuring out once you've started to edit a little bit, you start to find a workflow, um, and then you'll find that you can take the old project file, copy it, and then use a lot of the same settings as you go into your edit. Because that's what I do. I use an old project file that has a lot of things already set up. But yeah, it's finding that workflow to speed it up that you'll get more comfortable with it. But awesome. Well, Gwen, you streamed. You got back to streaming, and was the first stream the charity stream that you did, or did you do any others?
No, I did a couple of two streams now. Back to my Thursday evening schedule. And at the moment, I'm doing the seasons 4, sorry, Valheim Ancients playthrough.
Oh yeah, you just did one
So
4 days ago.
yeah, so every Thursday night, so I basically am trying to pick up where I left off before my long break. And then I did the charity stream as well, and yeah, so I'm back on Ancients. I'm basically trying to power through that season before it closes for season 5 to be born.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so we're really far behind, guys. We're like still not even Bronze Age. We only started mining, so we're a bit behind, but hopefully we'll catch up. get to see all the content and the fun stuff you've created in the other biomes, the Ashlands and Deep North, right? You've added some stuff in.
Oh yeah, the Ashlands and the Deep North have all custom content, and you can
Yes.
run it without mods. I should say also, obviously, if you're playing on our servers, you can experience the Valheim Ancients Season 4. But if you're a patron, also the world's available for download for
Yeah.
patrons.
Yeah. So hopefully we can finish that gameplay before Hilda's request is out and before the server's wiped. And then I think, because I don't think I'll be able to, no, for sure I won't be able to stream on weekends very much this summer, because I am pretty much away or busy every single weekend this summer.
Yeah.
So yes, it's that time of the year where everyone's getting married and stuff, and festivals are happening, and shows
Yep.
are happening, and other things, birthdays. So because I can't stream on weekends, and I will probably have very limited time to also edit and put out like edited content as well, I'm going to be kind of compensating a little bit by starting to stream on Tuesdays whenever we're not recording Podheim. So today is Tuesday. We're recording Podheim, so I'm not streaming. But maybe next week, I will be. No, actually, next week I'm away, so I won't be. But after that, when I'm back from my holidays, I will be also streaming on Tuesdays. However, I won't be streaming Valheim. I will be doing some other stuff, trying out some other games. And I will leave it at that. I will leave it to be a bit of a surprise, but it will be fun. It will be chaotic. I just want to also try out something new, and try out some fun games, and yeah, we'll see how it goes. Those Tuesday streams will probably be mostly for me rather than for anything else. It's just me trying out new stuff, having fun with other games, and yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah, I think it's we want to try out different games too, so our channels don't have to just be Valheim stuff. So other people will probably be interested. I love just watching two videos and seeing what's new or what's something out there that I haven't considered, or I've considered but I don't know a lot about, and so seeing somebody do a little playthrough or something on it, or tutorial or something, it gives you a good idea if it's something you want to try. And now there's so many other games I want to try.
Yeah,
including the ones we all mentioned earlier.
For sure. Yeah, for me it's not even so much about trying out new games. I think it's just going to be my Tuesday night hangout where I'm going to have some fun with some people I like playing with, and interact with people on stream. So yeah, it's gonna be different than my than my kind of Valheim focused stuff. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
How's it gonna work out with podcast?
But that's what I'm saying, is like whenever we're not doing yeah, the weeks that we're not recording Podheim, which is more often than not these days, those will be the days where I'll be streaming. Yeah, I had to keep something in like midweek, other than that Thursday, something to look forward to get me through Mondays at work, because I need something to keep me going. And yeah, before Tuesday night was always my Podheim night, and I was looking forward to it. Now that we all are a bit busy and we do them more rarely, I kind of needed to fill the void with something else. So
yeah.
As I said, Tuesday nights are going to be mostly for me, for hanging out and having fun. And join and come along on the ride if you want.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, we should definitely talk about some of the games that you are into, in case they're, co-op and we have time to do them too. Cause yeah, my Tuesday was always Podheim, but I'm looking, same thing. I'm looking at, doing playthroughs and creating more videos for different games. And so Tuesday might become one of those days. So if the stars align and we want to play the same game, then maybe that will work out where we get to see each other on there.
Yeah. How about you? What videos did you post?
Well, so I did basically in between the last podcast, I just did a video on the Ashlands that we just, we were talking about earlier. And I talk a little bit about it. I managed to stretch it out to 8 minutes, that little clip. But yeah, it's exciting. And like I said, I've been doing more research away from, my current, I've experimented with a lot of different types of videos on my channel, from like the little skits and the little funny things to, news and just various different things. And then also how to present them. And I think you might see the format changing just a little bit. And that does mean, it also means less videos per month, but I think it means higher quality videos. And that's really what I want to focus on, because I get more excited about the higher quality ones. But I still do just love getting on and just talking, like that video that I posted right there. I loaded the Twitter post and I just played the video and I just talked about it. I like that, and some people seem to like it. I mean, it got 11,000 views.
Holy.
Yeah. So like, that's just fun. So, cause I love when the content creators I watch, they're just themselves and they just get on and they talk about whatever subject. But, which videos do I tend to more? Well, it's the ones that are a little more highly produced and have like an intro and then pop into the next thing and the next thing. And they keep moving, and they have a lot of valuable information and or entertainment value, and they get through it. Those are the ones I tend to more. And those are the ones that tend to get, hundreds of thousands or millions of views, even people outside of like just the fans of Valheim. If you have something that, moves along a little quicker, you can attract other people, because they're, who are just gaming fans, who might be thinking about Valheim or maybe played Valheim back when it first came out and haven't thought much about it since. So yeah, I want to increase the value of each video, and do a few less. Plus, it's less stressful, because I was doing, at one point in my channel's career, I was doing almost a video a day. And it was so stressful. Like, I got to get another video out today. What's it going to be? Then the next day, I got to get a video out today. What's it going to be? And it just got so stressful that I was like, I can't deal with that stress anymore. A few videos a month, but, much higher quality, I can deal with that.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, fun stuff. And I think that's going to do it for us this week. I love getting together with you, and I think about 3 weeks is a pretty good Podheim schedule, because then it gives more time for us to stream or do other things on Tuesday, right?
Not me, but you sure?
Yeah. Gwen and my schedule. So
yes.
But yeah, I know, because you're on Twitch a lot. So if people want to get their fill, they can get it almost every day. You're on there almost every day, aren't you?
No, I'm on there Mondays, Fridays, and Saturdays. And then sometimes I squeeze in a Wednesday when I'm not absolutely out of it.
Well, 3 or 4 times a week, that's quite a bit of content still. So
yeah. Not too bad.
Yeah.
It's not full time, but it's not too shabby.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think that's going to do it for this week. Thanks for joining me.
Thanks for having us.
And that's it for now. Have fun out there.
Bye.
Bye.
Have fun with all gaming.
There you go.
Pop hat.
The pop hat.
Yes. The magical moving hat.